Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about building self-esteem. This is a 4-day series that I'm going to be doing to talk about the things that get in our way or why it creates problems for us to be able to move on from things in our lives or even stepping into new things. And obviously I'm repping my red because I still didn't manifest those tickets and I know that I'm doubting myself. So I feel like even if it doesn't happen, I'm okay with it because this environment still gave me the opportunity to create these videos for you guys and feel inspired to post things for the upcoming week. So, like I said, today's day one of the Building Self Esteem series, and in the video on the first image, you even saw the little definition I had about the definition of self esteem, and basically, it represents how we value ourselves and how we perceive ourselves. And that's really important because how you identify yourself is really going to determine the way you move, the way you react, the way you deal with situations and circumstances. So, I made a list of a couple things because I found this on another website too, just talking about things that are affected by having issues with self esteem. So, obviously, the first one is how you like and value yourself. If you don't feel like you have high self esteem, then you're going to be beating yourself up. You're not going to feel like you're valuable. You're going to be wavering, and observing circumstances outside of you may not make you feel comfortable about who you are because you already have this idea that you're not valuable just for being you. And looking for validation and proof outside of you isn't the strength that you need. You really have to have that self-esteem coming from within you to build a good foundation. The second thing is it affects your decision making because you're not going to be making decisions from a confident place. You're going to be feeling doubtful and just unsure about who you are, and I'm unsure if you're worthy enough to have the things that you desire. So you're not going to be making clear decisions, even like how I'm talking about manifesting mostly on my channel. Everybody's literally manifesting whether they're conscious of it or not. The issue is if you say you have a desire and you're just persisting and you're doing whatever techniques to get yourself into that state of being, but you're wavering because you're looking outside of you and you feel like things aren't working for you, or you believe that you're this version of yourself who things just doesn't work out for, your decision making is going to be based around those attributes. And if that's how you see yourself, you're limiting yourself. It's going to be difficult for you to recognize your strengths. So obviously, instead of seeing things as a positive or something that helped you grow, you're going to be assuming that maybe you're not as strong as you thought you could be. The way that you're handling things and the way that it seems like things are coming at you, you feel like instead of seeing it as opportunity for you to react differently or be someone who steps up to the plate in times of difficulty, you're assuming that you're this weak person who can't handle anything, and you get overwhelmed versus seeing it as something like there has to be a solution. Even if I'm not aware of it, it's on its way to me, and just be open-minded about those things. The next thing is trying new things, because if you're used to existing in certain circumstances, anything that you're trying to change is going to be something new to you. So obviously you can't go about it the same way you've been dealing with things in the past. So pretty much everything is going to be new. Everything might even seem unknown. So you can't allow that to be an excuse for why you don't believe in or trust yourself. And again, that's most likely because you're basing your opinion of yourself off past issues, maybe mistakes or perceived failures. But failure doesn't have to exist if you can just decide that things are learning experiences for you. And instead of continuing to make the same mistakes over and over again, just sit down and look at what the true lesson is and why you're so scared to own it, face up to it, and actually make change that will last for you. So, also being kind to yourself. So obviously, going through certain situations, you might not feel like the best or the strongest person to deal with it at that moment, but you can still give yourself compassion so that you can at least soothe yourself to get to that neutral place, to make a clear decision, to take a new action. um, Moving on from your past, the past isn't, honestly, when it comes to manifesting, I'm starting to realize like time is just a concept that we created. So if you really want to dissociate from the past, you could just recognize that it literally has nothing to do with who you identify as. It has nothing to do with where you're going. So why are you holding on to it? The best thing that you could use for your relationship to the past is to say that, well, this gave me an opportunity to learn more about myself. And if I've truly learned from whatever the situation is, then I should act accordingly. I should be making different decisions. I should be preparing myself how to react differently if something like that came up again, and just know like it doesn't define me. If I change my relationship to it and going forward, I just know, okay, well, let me be calm, let me be clear minded to really decide how I could go about dealing with this, or be open to new ways of assistance and help to come to you without you having to try hard for it or not feel like you're worthy of it. So, the next thing is believing that you matter or that you're good enough. You shouldn't have to be depending on other people or situations to show you that you matter. You shouldn't be relying on those outside things to tell you that you're good enough. So that's a lot of the reason why many of us have issues with self-esteem, because we don't realize it just has to do with who we think we are or how we see ourselves. We're just choosing the events and situations outside of ourselves and assuming that they define us. One, two, we're giving it a negative definition. So if you already have a negative definition of yourself as well as the things that are happening around you, that's automatically setting yourself up for failure. So you're literally making it difficult for you to even be able to move forward in things. um, and the last thing is believing that you're deserving of happiness. Again, a lot of people don't believe that they deserve happiness, and mentally that's why they keep creating issues, because you almost have this assumption that life is going to be full of issues. You're anticipating difficulties, and if that's what you think about when you think about yourself or how you view the circumstances in your life, you're going to continue to repeat those cycles of patterns or negative behaviors that no longer align with who you say that you are. So I just say those things to say, just to give you guys a starting point for the 4-day video, is even just in having that awareness that I don't have a good self-concept of myself, which is causing limitations. If I just decide to define myself as something more positive, even just in a general sense, you'll feel a lot lighter, and it'll be easier for you to want to change, knowing that you no longer have to define yourself as someone who isn't good enough, who isn't worthy, who doesn't have enough self-esteem. So for day 2, I think we're going to talk about why we struggle with those things. I know I kind of touched on it already, but we're going to go more in depth about other reasons we might struggle to feel like we can have that self-esteem. See you guys on day 2.